Out of more than 2 million disabled people here in South Korea, around 10% are visually impaired. To mark International Day of Persons with Disabilities, our Yoo-jin delves into the history of the Korean Braille writing system.
Braille is a literacy system for the visually impaired. The system is read by touch using fingers to feel the raised dots, which represent letters and symbols. Korean Braille, or Hunmaeng Jeongeum, dates all the way back to the early 20th century during the Japanese colonial period. During those times, Park Du-sung, a teacher at Jaesaengwon, the predecessor of the Seoul National School for the Blind, saw his students using Japanese Braille and felt the need to invent Korea's own system. And on November 4, 1926, after years of research, Park announced the creation of 훈맹 정음. The name comes from the name for the Korean alphabet, 훈민정음. Then came decades of research and revision. Finally, in 1997, the Culture Ministry announced the first Korean Braille regulations.
It took me a lot of practice to learn it. When I first read Braille, I didn't know where a certain sentence or word ended. I didn't know how to differentiate between the similar-looking dots.
The road to learning is tough, but for those who have difficulties inside, Braille could be their only way to connect with the world. One of the Braille readers I talked to compared it to a light at the end of a dark tunnel. Without Braille, the visually impaired could be deprived of their right to be educated. But even though there are textbooks and educational materials in Braille, they're not always available.
Besides textbooks, other learning materials like workbooks or test papers are not simultaneously provided in Braille. It takes about 3 months to transcribe one book into Braille for university students, even if they request a Braille version of their core books at the start of the semester. A lot of the time, they get it towards the end of the semester.
Then, why does it take so long? A lack of necessary infrastructure. To accurately and swiftly transcribe text into Braille, there should be a certified transcriber and proofreader for screening. But in South Korea, there are less than 2,000 qualified to do this. To address this problem, instructors should develop new teaching methods and aids that teach Braille more easily. But to make this possible, more Braille teaching institutions and teachers are needed, and institutions like the country's 40 Braille libraries need more staff. Most importantly, Braille users want their voices heard.
When creating Braille textbooks or installing signs on buildings or public facilities, consulting with a visually impaired person or a Braille expert is optimal. That's because they're the ones who know what's correct and best for them.
It's through education that people can step up and speak out. In this sense, Braille education is the starting point of meaningful and needed change. Yoo-jin, Arirang News.